Now, a long time ago, this stream didn't exist. A little further that way, there's a glacier, and so many years ago, horses would walk back and forth, creating what this is here, instinctively knowing that in the future, men would want to come and collect the fresh water and bring it home to their families. And so, pre-knowing that, as the horses did that, it created what you see here today. Many years ago, the original Icelandic men would come through here to collect the fresh glacial water, but it would take a lot of time, and it would be a long journey from some of their families, and so in order to make it back, they would carve out these caves here in the side of the mountains, only to realize after all of the construction and hard work that they did, they realized it's actually colder inside the cave, and that's what you now see before you today. Really interesting thing about the hills here in Iceland is that they're covered in this moss. Now, this moss takes a century to grow. That's 100 years. If you get caught ripping out the moss out of the ground or off of these rocks, the punishment is actually 4% of your paycheck that you earn has to go toward replenishing the moss on these rocks or these hills. Now, that actually carries over to your lineage. So if your son or grandson gets jobs, 4% of their checks get taken out too, until that century or 100 years is up and the moss is replenished into what you see here today. I decided to take a little hike through these cliffs in Iceland, and what's cool, I looked it up. Will Smith actually owns a house right through there. I'm actually standing on his property now. That's actually Will Smith's house. He kind of likes living out kind of the middle of nowhere. Smith family lives up there. They're graciously letting us shoot here today, and we're probably going to actually shoot some of the video on his property. He was cool enough to let us do that, so that's kind of really what you see here today.
Yeah, you've been telling her some of the facts, right?
Yeah. If you pull out the moss, the penalty is 4% of your paycheck goes to replenishing the moss, but since it takes a century to grow, that carries on to like your kids and grandkids, and they also have to pay 4% of their paychecks.
Oh my gosh. Those are real facts.